Okay, so I am a big lover of eyewear. I started collecting eyewear when I was in grade 8.
Yeah.
Just now at Agenda Woman, one of my friends was in the audience and she was crying and she's like, people don't understand that you actually started collecting eyewear when you were in grade 8.
Was there ever a moment that you remember where you were just like, today is the day and I am going to start?
My goal was to save for a car. That's just the honest truth. I was like, okay, I'm working. I want to be able to buy myself a car. But when the time came where I had enough money, you know, to put into a deposit, I decided, right, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to save towards a business. I remember in 2021, I really felt the urge to start. But now there's capital. I don't know what to do, but I know that I want to go into business.
A lot of people are usually stuck there. Were you ever nervous at all whether people would buy or not?
One of the things we learned very early in our journey is that you can't service the entire market.
Of course. What do you think stops a lot of women from
Ooh.
starting their businesses? New of you.
Standing in their own way.
Hello, Resonate community, and welcome to the best and the biggest sales and entrepreneurship podcast in the whole wide world. It would not be a podcast episode if I don't start by telling you how excited I am today. Let me tell you, there are times where we talk about women that make moves, and then there are times where we talk about boss babies, like boss babes, women that are just in the industry and are so visible. I forgot to wear my shades today, and you will know why, because the lady that I have in the room has taken people by a storm with her eyewear that everybody wants to wear. Every time I post a picture, people are constantly asking me, where did you find this? And I will send them a link and they'll come and say, I've just bought this. This is a business I've seen thrive over the past year. And I'm so excited. Just get into the nitty-gritties of how. I am joined by the owner and the founder of Bona, Wenzile. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you.
Same.
First of all, Umhle, you look amazing.
Enkosi
You
ndifana
look
now.
so stunning. And Kaloku
Thank
Eyewear, you had to
you.
like bring it to us to say,
course.
Jongan, like this is what I make. Oh, I love it so much. You look amazing.
Thank you so much.
You really look
And
amazing.
So do you.
I came across your brand. I'd been seeing it online.
Yeah.
And then I experienced it in December when we were at Agenda Woman.
Yes.
And my husband actually bought me a pair. And I have not stopped wearing it.
I remember seeing you in the pair and I was
Yeah.
just so excited telling my husband,
Yeah.
Ubuti, this is the lady from the CEO book.
Yes.
And she's wearing our glasses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my, he bought me more than one pair, but there's a
Yeah.
specific pair
That
that I
you
wear.
love.
I'm like, it's dim.
Yeah.
Like it completes my look. It's me. I can wear that without makeup on.
Yes.
It's just,
It
I don't know, man. It
works.
works with, it's mine.
Yes.
It's mine.
And you look good in it.
Thank you so
I've
much.
seen
I'm
you.
like, oh, I love it so much. I can't wait to chat to you about the business stuff. But before we get into it,
Yeah.
we love getting through a fire round of questions because we want to know who Wenzy is.
Okay.
So relaxed questions. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to ask you I think we'll do 3
Okay.
questions just so we can get to know you. I'll
Okay.
do the common ones because there's one specific one that everybody that comes to the podcast loves.
Okay.
And then there are others that are just like, oh, I don't know what. So we'll start with that one.
Okay.
What do you look forward to every single morning?
Oh, seeing my husband.
Oh, that's
I
so cute.
swear. So we have this thing where when we go to bed,
Yeah.
we wake up and we're like, oh, I missed you so much.
Oh, that is so
So
sweet.
that's the one thing I look forward to
Yeah.
the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing him in the morning.
I love that so much because there's something about girls that are loved right that thrive
Yeah.
a certain way. Like
Yes.
it's those who know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's so lovely. Okay, if you were to trade careers with somebody today for a day, who would it be and why?
Ooh, trade careers.
Yeah.
That's a difficult one.
Yeah,
Who would I trade careers with?
yeah,
Possibly someone who travels the world.
yeah.
Yeah, people who travel all these different countries, have all
Yes.
these different experiences and get to learn about all the different cultures.
Yeah.
Someone who does that, like Botobi Rose.
Yes. Ah, nice. Ah, that's lovely. You know, when you said it's a difficult question, I thought to myself, oh, that's interesting. Because every time I have different guests, I always feel like, oh, today I would trade with this person, this person.
Yes.
And what came to mind for me was like Angelina Jolie, but
Yes.
during the Lara Croft movie.
Nice.
Like, I'd want to do all of that
Yeah,
martial
yeah.
arts and whatever
Yes.
just for a day.
That's nice.
and like come back and just like be back to being Michelle.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, amazing. Okay, cool. If you had to create a holiday, what would it be and why? So like a holiday, like a national something day.
Oh, it would have to be a National Bona Day.
Ooh,
Yes.
I love that.
Where we see the entire country wearing bonas. Please, that's what I want to see.
Oh my
Like I've always said that I want to see as many people in this country wearing this brand. And little by little, I'm starting to see it. I start bumping into people who are wearing bonas and so forth.
Yeah.
So definitely a National Bona Day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here for that. Definitely I'm here for that. I have Bona days already. So we just need to get everybody to catch up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so lovely. You know, when I look at your eyewear, right? It's it gives luxury.
Yes.
It gives very like luxury. I know like every time I put a pair on, like people are just always like,
that looks nice.
That looks nice.
Yeah.
You know, what was the idea during the conceptualization of the brand itself? What did you have in mind?
Okay, so I am a big lover of eyewear. I started collecting eyewear when I was in grade 8.
Yeah.
Just now at Agenda Woman, one of my friends was in the audience and she was crying and she's like, people don't understand that you actually started collecting eyewear when you were in grade 8. And then one of my varsity friends was just like, babe, every time you go to the mall, you do not come back to rest without a pair of glasses.
Wow.
So for me, because I really started loving eyewear when I was young, it was very important for the audience to also have that experience of having affordable eyewear, but eyewear that's also going to last you quite some time, like eyewear that you'll be able to wear from one season to another. I've seen a lot on Instagram, if you go through our tags, like some of the glasses that you'll see people tag us in are glasses that you don't even see on the website. So those are old glasses that people still wear even till today. So it's just being able to offer people quality, you know, at an affordable price and something that they can get many wears out of. That's why we also don't really participate in trends because we want our people to be able to wear our eyewear over time.
Because it's very classic, and I think I get that a lot. Like, it's very classic. You can wear it with the suit or you can wear it with the sundress.
Yes.
So it's like you can do both with it. And I really, really love that about the brand. I'm curious to also just find out from you. So, I mean, a lot of people get into my DMs and even in the comment section and talk about how they want to start a business and they've got this business idea. And it's just like, I just don't know where to start. What was starting, like, was there ever a moment that you remember where you were just like, today is the day and I am going to start?
Sure. So I'm a Christian. So I believe...
We love Jesus on this podcast. We are saved, sanctified by the Holy Spirit. So you're welcome.
Thank you. So I'm a Jesus girly and I really do have the understanding that I want to go into something having consulted an all-knowing God because I don't know everything. So if I've got my approval, my confirmation, my yes from a God like that, I know I'm set to go. So for me, I started saving back in 2019 when I started working as an educator. My goal was to save for a car. That's just the honest truth. I was like, okay, I'm working. I want to be able to buy myself a car. But when the time came where I had enough money, you know, to put into a deposit, I decided, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to save towards a business. But at the time, I obviously didn't know what business I would go into, you know, what that industry would look like. So because I wasn't certain, I continued to save for a good 2 years. So all in all, it's about 2 to 3 years worth of savings. And I remember in 2021, I really felt the urge to start. But now there's capital. I don't know what to do, but I know that I want to go into business.
A lot of people are usually stuck there.
Yes.
Very much.
So I prayed about it. I was like, God, I want to go into business, but I'm not willing to go into business if you're not going to approve it. And I'm also not willing to do something that I just want to do. I need you to confirm it for me because then I know I'm good. I'm set, you know. I prayed that prayer and I remember the one afternoon I was at home and something said eyewear. To me, it clicked immediately because why wasn't I thinking about this all along? Like, I love eyewear so much. I sent my partner a message. He was at the gym and when he came back, he said to me, okay, tell me, because you said you've got such a great idea.
Yeah.
I let him know, and for him, it also made sense. Now we're excited, but at the same time, I'm just like, I still can't go into Eyewear if God hasn't said yes to me.
Yeah.
So the next day, a lady from Instagram sent me a DM, and she was like, hey, babe, if you ever need A, B, and C, I'm your girl. And all I'm thinking is, nobody else knows that I want to go into business.
Yeah.
It's only he was my partner at the time. It's only my partner who knew that. So for me, that was a go ahead from God. So I think it's also very important that when you're really passionate about something and you know that God has given you that idea, that you immediately entertain it. Because we really do get stuck in the planning process. Like you end up talking yourself out of it if you plan for too long.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yo, that is so true. You know, I can resonate.
Yeah.
With so many moments you just shared. And I think one of the things we advocate the most about on the podcast is just being able to like take your idea to God and pray.
Yes.
Because then, and I always say to people that the moment you involve God, I promise you, He's got the customers ready.
Yes.
He's got the finances ready. He's got the suppliers ready.
Yes.
He's orchestrated everything for you in your favor to make sure that this happens. And by the time you kickstart, you're good to go.
You don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just aligns. Oh, that is so powerful to hear. And so you obviously get into starting this business. And one of the things that I appreciate the most about your brand, which is something that personally local brands don't get right, is how your branding looks and where you put it on your shades.
Yes.
There is, for me, I think local brands, and not only in South Africa, but in different countries, have a tendency of like blasting it all out. So like I become the brand ambassador because this thing is now written all over the product I just bought.
Yes.
And I personally don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
But one thing I've seen your shades do is like, it's so subtle, but you know it's a Bona
Bona's.
Wenzile. Exactly. Like, you know it's Bona's. I was at a restaurant at Mall of Africa, I think on Saturday, and I spotted somebody wearing them.
Exactly.
And I didn't even need, like, I couldn't even, but I just knew that is a Bona.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? And maybe take us through the branding process of your business. What was that like for you, and what was the thought process behind it? Because it's very different. It's unique.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Sure. So when the eyewear idea came, now we needed to come up with a name.
Yeah.
And there were many options, thinking, brainstorming, and Bona just made sense because Bona means to see, both in isiZulu and Sesotho.
Yes.
So that's how the name Bona came about, and I attached it to myself because at the time, I'm a content creator and also influencer. A lot of people would buy some of the things that I would recommend, and I'd see them tag me and so forth. So my very first customers were my audience. So that's why it was important for me to attach my name to the brand. But the brand has grown to such an extent where there are people who have no idea who I am.
Wow.
And I like that.
And they'll buy.
Yes, I like that. We really wanted to make sure that as much as it's an eyewear brand, but people feel like it's their thing. And that's why we also include our customers in the process of making our glasses. Sometimes we make sure that we take their suggestions, their feedback into consideration.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a pair that we're going to drop next week.
Ooh.
And that suggestion actually came from one of our customers at the beginning of the year.
Oh, wow.
So we really try to position ourselves in a way that customers are aware that, hey, we are listening to you. We are doing what you guys want us to do because we centered our brand, around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. And I'm also curious to know, what did that research pot looks like? And I'm asking these questions because a lot of people will say, I want to sell hair, but I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So you had this idea of eyewear, but it was like, where do I go?
Yes.
Like, what happens? Do I Google how to stock eyewear, and then where will I brand it after that?
Yeah.
What was that like for you in terms of getting into the market research, the product research, finding the right supplier that will be able to make those unique that not everyone else is wearing and that are not widespread, so you can create a brand and a business for yourself?
Yeah. So Google is your best friend. That's the first thing I'm going to say.
You know, we say that a lot and people take that for granted.
Yes!
Like people think we are being funny when we say
It's the
you
truth.
can Google anything.
Anything you want is out there. That evening when I told my partner about the eyewear business, I literally sat. I was going to work the next day, but I sat until 3 a.m. just doing my research, trying to find out what are the right materials to use when, you know, you're trying to make eyewear that is affordable, because that is our selling point, the fact that we are affordable.
Yeah.
So there are materials that we don't use at the moment. We will use them in future. But right now, we had to make sure that we're using the right materials, the right suppliers. Where do we get suppliers? Where do we get manufacturers? You know, reading up the reviews, because that's also very important.
True.
You know, the credibility of whoever you are working with was important. So we made sure that that research was done so that we can start the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because it demystifies the whole idea that the people that are building are the people who are somewhat connected somewhere.
Oh, no.
By like somebody so big and so hectic who travels the world.
wish.
And it's just
I
like
actually wish.
Google, you guys. We don't know people. We just Google things. We find, we make calls, we send emails, we trial and error.
You sample.
Yes.
You test. Yeah.
Until you find the right product for you that you can then start customizing, which is something that is very, very important.
Yeah.
So this comes, and you mentioned that a lot of people that started buying from you were people that were on your Instagram.
Yes.
Tell me, were you ever nervous at all whether people would buy or not?
There is that little fear, I won't even lie, because you don't know what's going to happen. Yes, you've got the faith, you've got the conviction, but now let's see how people, you know, respond to the product. Are they going to like it? And I think one of the things we learned very early in our journey is that you can't service the entire market.
Of course.
You can try. We tried that. At the very beginning, we had like many different styles that we were offering because we wanted to try and accommodate as many people as we could. But even within the eyewear industry, we had to narrow it down to this is our target market. This is our niche. These are the people that we are going to service, and we are happy with that. So when people come to, you know, our website or our page, they're not shocked. They know what they're looking for, and they're going to find exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of you have you seen grow as the business has been growing?
I think this one I had to learn quite recently. I am very, I don't know if rigid is the right word to use. Like once I've set my mind on something, I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay like that until Jesus comes. So I'm not easily persuaded into, it's difficult to change my mind. But I've learned that in order for the business to grow, I needed to be adaptive. And the business taught me that as the leader. I wasn't willing to be adaptive, but the business kind of steered me into that direction. And I think there are a lot of things that I've learned about myself that I also didn't quite know, just the type of leader I am. You know, because, you know, when something is your baby, it's like, you
get tested.
This is my baby, and this is the vision that I have. So you can't really, but I've learned.
Yeah.
I really have learned.
Yeah.
And I think the business has actually made me such a much more better person, if I may say that. Yeah.
I love that so much. And I see, I mean, your business is growing and everyone can see it.
Thank you.
What has the transition been like in terms of, I can imagine when you guys started, it was just you and your hubby.
Yeah.
And you guys like did everything. And now that it's growing, you obviously need to get a team in. You need to trust people, to respond to comments, to post, to take the content, to do all of these other stuff. What has that been like for you?
It's a lot of work. It truly and honestly is like you are everything to the business. I think we have been blessed enough in the past couple of years. This year, actually, or actually towards the end of last year, that's when we felt that the business needed more hands. You know, there are things that we can no longer do that we need to outsource. Like I mentioned at Agenda Women, you know, we no longer do our admin. There are people who are equipped and are skilled to do it better than we could possibly ever do it. You know, so we are in good books. But obviously, as the business grows, we want to continue to bring in more people. And that's also something that I've been praying about because, hey, you don't want to hire the wrong people.
Yeah. And I think that's the challenging thing about scaling a business, because number one, you might find out that you need people urgently, and then you start hiring,
Yeah.
and then you just realize that not everybody has an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
So people walk in there with their own different mentalities that might not be good for the
Yes.
business.
Yeah. So just hiring right. You know, we don't want to hire someone who doesn't want to be there. We don't want to hire someone who's not sent by God. We know if God sent them.
Yeah.
Rishapo. Like, we're okay.
Yeah.
So things that we aspire for the business are things that we've already started looking into, you know, praying about, so that when that time also comes, we're ready. It's not only then where we are doing the work, but we're already doing the work now. I think last year, even at the store,
Yes.
we had someone come to us and be like, if you ever open a store, I'm the one. And I thought like that person was joking.
Yeah.
They contacted us again this year to say, have you
Opened yet?
you know? So that also just opened my eyes to say, hey, we need to start thinking in this direction. We won't always be able to do everything ourselves. By the grace of God, we have been.
Yeah.
But now the business has grown and it requires much more than what we can give it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were saving up for a car. Did you eventually get your car?
Yes.
Girl, that's good. I was so curious. I bet it was better than what you wanted in the beginning.
It was.
Yeah?
It was.
I love that so much.
It was. It was.
I love that so much. So the business grows, and how I also found out about you on Instagram is like people wearing your shades and showcasing them and talking about how amazing that they look. And I thought, I can definitely see myself in these. What is marketing your business been now beyond just your personal brand? Because like you mentioned earlier, people are buying what you're selling. And I think a lot of people think that just because you've got numbers, you can sell. And although that is true to an extent, at some point you need the scalability of people buying without you being the face of it.
Yes.
And what was that? Is there anything you specifically did to create that transition in terms of kind of increasing your market and your reach beyond your brand at the moment?
I want to credit our customers for this. Our customers have really made it extremely easy to market.
Sure.
They wear the brand. Therefore, you'll see on our Instagram, there's a post every day, Monday to Friday. You know there's going to be a post. And for us, that was also just important so that other potential customers, when they get to the page, they see, okay, this one has more or less a face that looks like mine.
Yes.
This one's complexion looks like mine. So it's easier for them to make the decision of purchasing that particular pair because there's someone else that they've seen who looks like them that looks good in that pair. So I really, really want to credit our customers, for that because it's not just me. It's them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like your customers are actually the brand ambassadors.
Yeah. Even yourself. Remember the one time you sent me a DM? Yeah. Michelle was wearing Bonas, right? Then she received
on Facebook even.
It was Facebook.
Yeah, it was Facebook. Somebody contacted me on Facebook. It was on Facebook. Yeah.
You received that DM on Facebook and the lady asked you where you got your glasses from. You told her where you got them from and she came back and said, I got them. And she looked so good.
She was wearing them. I was like,
looks so good.
Oh my gosh.
Sure. So I really want to credit, that to our people, the Bona fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got amazing customers. And I'm curious to know, is there a little Wenzy somewhere down the line years ago that can look back at this moment and this year in particular and be so proud and feel like we've done well?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've always been intentional about the fact that one day I'd start a business. I studied education, so I got my degree, then moved on to do my honors. But while I was doing my degree, I made sure that one of my modules was business management.
Nice.
Because I knew that I needed the foundation, the education to inform how we'd operate the business. Even though at the time I had no idea what it would be, but I knew that one day.
Yeah.
So that girl's like, that one day is here and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I really do. What was your childhood like?
Ooh, I actually had a great childhood.
Yeah?
Yeah. My parents really did their best. And when I think the older I become, the more I realize how much sacrifices they actually, did for us to have a good education, you know, and live the life that we did. I don't come from a rich background.
Yeah.
Like, my mom was a hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even some of the things that I do now, I learned from her.
Nice.
Not just from school, but also from her. My mom, she used to have a tuck shop. So there's a school in our area. So I'm from Ekasi. You guys call it Ekasi na City. Say Lokshin.
Yeah. Where?
In Pangin.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a school in our area, and my mom used to sell there. So she'd sell like hot dogs, and so the kids were, you know, they were eating
Nice. They were having cuisine.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, my parents made sure to give us a really good childhood. They took us to the best schools.
Yeah.
They really did. I went to an Afrikaans school. Not by choice though. It was kind of like a thing that happened because my mom was looking for a school for me.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, so she had no choice but to take me to an Afrikaans school. And I have no background of it. And I'm going to grade 1.
Yeah.
And my teacher really, she used to give my mom feedback to say, hey, your kid is struggling. My mom said, give her 6 months. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I had to be street smart.
Quickly.
Yeah, I had to learn fast.
Yeah.
So how I started learning the language was just, okay, the teacher's greeting. This is how they respond. This means she's greeting them. So now I know this is what I say. When she says that, it means she's greeting. Right? When she's instructing you to stand up, this is what she says. And I see everyone, get up. So this is what it means. So that's how I learned. And I went to an Afrikaans high school.
Yeah.
Even in varsity, I still had Afrikaans as one of my modules that I did.
Okay.
So my parents really, they really did.
You know, I'm reading Bumile Dwaba's book,
Yes.
And I'm so interested in people's stories. And I think it's something we've unintentionally did on the podcast is like try to dig deep into people's childhood because they really shape who they are.
True.
And as I'm listening to you speak, I'm thinking, you know, there's something about, number one, seeing your mom hustle like that.
Yeah.
That gives you a certain hustle.
Yeah.
And also being exposed to certain schools. I think we really downplay how certain environments expand our minds.
Yes.
To want more, to do more, and to thrive for more. So that even when you go back, but you know, something's different. Yeah. And you're just like, but I want that one. I know I stay here, but that's
the life I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the life I want. And I was laughing because I'm reflecting, you know, I grew up in Cape Town.
Oh, nice.
Right. Elokshini as well. Like, Esamor.
Yeah.
And we went to an Afrikaans school. And back in that day, the schools would be split in 2. So there would be an Afrikaans class and then there'd be an English class. So the Afrikaans class would do like maths in Afrikaans. Everything in Afrikaans, right?
Yes, that was me.
Did you do all of that?
It was an Afrikaans school.
Listen, so
Veskanda, everything.
Gonke.
Yeah.
So I meet a friend at this new school.
Yeah.
And I'm following my friend everywhere. I forgot which class I'm in. Yeah. So they were split into A and B. A was the one where it was Afrikaans only, then B would be English. So now I go to A because my friend's going to A. I stayed there a whole week, so confused, hearing nothing. Yeah. Like just until my mom at some point was like, how is school? I was like, Mama, I'm confused. Nothing. Maybe I've lost my ability to hear. Yeah. Until we found out that I've been in the wrong class the entire week following my friend. And only when I went to the B class, I was like,
this is where I'm supposed to be.
Mathematics.
Yeah.
You know, life orientation, and then Afrikaans is a subject.
Yes.
So I chuckle because I just remember young Michelle so confused. Like, what the heck is going on?
At least it was just for a week and not a year. We thank God for your mom.
But a week is a lot. Like Monday to Friday from morning. I'm just like,
it's too much.
But there is something about being in spaces like that and being with those kids and being with there's certain things that they say, certain languages, the way that they'll carry themselves and the way that they do things that make you, that just like, okay, I equal but I want it. So you mentioned earlier that, you know, the products that you guys make aren't for everyone. Yeah. And I can imagine that transition must have been interesting when you realize that actually what we're building, not everybody's actually going to like it.
Yeah.
Have you received, let's say, negative feedback from a customer? And what was the best way that you handled it in? I ask this because we have such big conversations with small business owners where it's like, I think one wrong a criticism can make them feel like people hate my product.
Yeah.
They don't like it and I need to stop. And then it kind of hits your confidence a bit. But we've seen you continuously move forward. And sometimes we don't even know that people are saying something bad about the products. But it's like maybe it just wasn't for them. How did you handle it? And how do you continue to handle it in the business so that it doesn't hit your confidence? And also just hit the ideas that you bring around your own product?
So I think we have been fortunate and blessed enough. A lot of our customers really love our products and they haven't really had an issue with it. I think there have been cases where customers would maybe come back after a couple of months and say, hey, my screw came out. Could you please fix this for me? And we'd do that and send them back their glasses. But it's never really been anything about your product sucks. I don't like it. It doesn't meet my expectations and so forth. So we've never experienced anything like that. Our customers come to us, like I said, if there's a screw missing and they'll say, hey, please replace my screw and we'll do that. So we haven't had any bad feedback. Yeah.
I like that. I think it actually does back to the beginning of your story that you prayed about it.
Yes.
And it's like everything just aligns and it just comes together because it's something that God ordained. And there will be some challenges along the way. However, you will still triumph through them, which is amazing. Now, you're basically in an e-commerce business where you transact online. And I mean, when we launched the CEO Blueprint, I just realized how hectic that side of business is. Also in terms of just transacting from an African perspective, where yes, it's good for us to transact with people in South Africa, but how do I get somebody in Kenya to buy my product? And then how do I take it to them? What has that been like for you and what have you been learning?
So we want to, be worldwide at some point. At the moment, we only nationwide. I think before the festive season, we'll be shipping to other countries.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be getting that shamani, that Kenyan
dollars.
shamani. But we have had experience before where we shipped to Swaziland, Namibia, and so forth. But unfortunately, that courier company we used to use closed down because they had a really terrible experience. So we had to close that and then just only cater to the people within the country. But before festive season, we'll be shipping worldwide.
I love that.
I
love it. Oh, okay. Well, we can't wait. And if you're watching and you're anywhere in the world, just know that. And before festive season, in a month or two, because December is
in a month.
In a month.
In a month.
Just be on the lookout from the date that you're watching this and you're trying to get you some Bona. Please just know that wherever in the world you are, you will be able to get
access it.
I love that so much. How have you seen yourself, your role as a wife after you started your business, after the business started growing?
Guys, I don't want to lie to you. Business will consume your time. It will take up your wifely time as well, especially in the building phases. But true. I think it's also important to just have a partner who understands. I don't think that should continue for too long. I've seen that with us, now that we have been growing, we're able to plan better. So that allows me time to, do other things, not just business the whole time. I think for 2 years, I was just hey, bo, non-stop. But he was patient enough. And I don't want to lie. He was patient. But I was consumed by the business. I'm in a better space now because we plan better now. So there is time to do other stuff.
And I think a partner that's very supportive and I ask this because especially as Christians, we are not stable in that arena. In terms of just gender roles, first of all. And over and above that, just as a woman who's a CEO of a thriving business, there's a misconception around what your relationship could potentially look like. I remember even when I was building my business, people would be like, no guy's going to marry you. You're just heavy, and it's just they actually are people who will love you the way that you are with your ambition and even do everything in their power to support you and help you and just be a place of comfort during that run around. So that's why I just want, because there's a lot of people who think, oh my God, they either have to give up ambition for a partner, and it's just
you can do both. If it's the right person, you can do both.
And even be a mom,
Yeah.
and even do more. And so nice.
Yeah.
So nice. What are the future plans? Maybe without telling us everything for Bona.
Okay, I think the first one we've already mentioned. We want to ship outside of the country.
Yes.
At some point, we want to remember at the beginning of the conversation. I mentioned the materials that we use for our eyewear now.
Yeah.
We want to be able to get the best manufacturers, use the best materials, and those don't come cheap. They really don't. So in future, we really want to tap into that market as well. And then the other things you guys will just need to find out. Oh, but Nestolo, yes.
No, it's not like standard. We are waiting for it. We're waiting for a launch.
Yes,
Bona,
it's coming.
We are waiting for a launch. Please, Wenzy. We are like literally
Yeah.
there. I think that's going to be such an amazing move for your business. But
Yeah.
I know retail is not child's play. You
It's
must be
not.
prepared for it.
It's not.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle.
No, retail's a lot. From shop
Yeah.
fitting to rent
so
to
expensive.
hiring. Yes. Yeah. It's like, no, it's intense. And I think that's why like platforms like the Agenda Woman Pop-Up Store are very nice, because then they
Yes.
get you into those spaces without heavy lifting while you actually are
Yeah.
testing out if this thing is going to work and what
Yeah.
the sales are going to look like.
Yeah.
Which I think is just amazing. So shout out to Nomdeni. We love her
Shout
on
out
this
to
podcast.
Nomdeni.
And we're waiting for December.
I've already started planning.
It's like Nomdeni, start sending the emails.
We want to get stock ready.
Please.
You know?
We want to make more orders. Just something, babe, something. Just please. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, I know you've interfaced with a lot of women in business, people like myself, and a lot of
Yeah.
other people in the different communities of entrepreneurship. What do you think stops a lot of women from
Ooh.
starting their businesses? I knew a few.
Standing in their own way. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
So I know. Like a lot of us stand in our own way. That fear cripples us.
Yeah.
You don't see beyond, what you're feeling. You don't know what the other side looks like, and that scares you. So it's better here. It's more comfortable.
Yeah.
But honestly, just standing in our own way. There are other things as well. But this one, I've seen even with other people who want to start. Like, the excuses are many.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever still go through the fear?
No.
Shucks. I still do.
Nah. Of it failing.
Not of it, just like the fear of like, just not knowing what tomorrow like looks like, of like building this thing. Like, what if like tomorrow there's lockdown?
Yeah.
Or like
what happens then?
Yeah. And also just like, I think as your business grows, you'll be called to like a higher version of yourself.
Yes.
And there's a bit of fear, like, what is that going to take?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
what
I
does that...
get that. I
Yeah.
get that. That is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is scary. I mean, a lot of things are scary until you really attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even me coming to this
Yeah.
podcast, it's my first time.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously scared.
Yeah.
But I need to do it to get over the fear.
I love that.
So like I think we really need to try and practice some of the things that are in our hearts, the things that we desire. Like just try,
Yeah.
really try.
And to your point, the prayer
It could
does
work.
help. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
God's got your back. Heaven's backing you up.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
did you ever feel scared? I mean, I was telling you off air before we started a little story about myself, but I'm wondering, did you ever get scared when the brand started blowing up?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That is scary because now you don't know how the people that don't really know the brand are going to receive it.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of returning customers, so they've experienced the brand and.
it.
But now there are other people who are only discovering you, discovering you for the first
Yeah.
time, and you don't know what their experience is going to be like. But we make sure to deliver on our brand promise so that everyone has the same experience. Everyone receiving the same products, the same quality.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is scary. But it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good.
And the reason why I'm kind of piggybacking on this point is to highlight the fact that we all at some point do experience the fear.
Yes.
And I think people have the idea or the perception that once you start, the fear's gone.
No.
And then you're like, all right, like you're going to be perfectly fine. You're going to be a boss babe. And it's like, sometimes we do feel like boss babes, but there are times where it's like you wake up in the morning and you're just like, I'm
not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is going to. Or sometimes during the midst of something great happening, it can easily just be like, there's a bit of fear creeping in and I don't know why.
What does the next level hold? You know? What does that look like?
Exactly. And also,
am I equipped
to do that?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was sharing with you that, like, I think one of my biggest things lately has been going out in public and having people come to me and talk about the podcast. That I'm
so
not
scary.
saying don't do it. It's scary. Yeah. I'm just always like, okay. Because we sit in a studio and it's like when you're with your team and you're building this thing, it's a handful of you guys. And it seems easy, it's flowing, it's natural. And then only when you realize how this thing is like so real to everybody out there and how people are spending their money to purchase the product.
Yes.
You're like, okay.
This is real.
This is real. This is not like child's play, and this is real. And I'm always trying to say to people, the fear does creep in all the time.
It does. It does.
And we just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And not stop because the fear, is happening. But it's like we just have to keep going. And sometimes we lean on our partners.
Yes.
To give us that encouragement. And the confidence. And in that moment, or we lean on our family, our friends, whatever the case may be. But I always want to highlight that moment for people because when people see you building something important, they think you're perfect.
Oh, no.
And you're like super, they're like, oh, look at them. They're so put together. And this is like so amazing. And it's like, no, babes.
We're figuring it out.
Every single day.
Yeah. You're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Other times you need to go back to the drawing board. And for example, with this pair, our temple, which is this leg, used to be slightly shorter. It worked on women, but for some men, it was too short. So it would, end here. So we had to go back and say, hey, let's increase.
Yeah. And you've spent money already.
Yes.
So what
So
happens
we had to do that. No, that stock is done.
Oh, it goes
But
out.
this was to accommodate the men as well, because as much as the brand is centered around women, we do also cater for men. Yeah. So there's a lot of figuring out, there's a lot of refining that is done. So you don't have everything, figured out.
Yeah. It speaks to your point about adaptability in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like learning to not necessarily change your mind, but change the direction to still continue with the path.
Yeah.
Because that might look very differently for your business.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I love that. I love that so much. If you were to say something to your future self 5 years from now, what would you say to her?
You did it. Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Because I believe that in 5 years, that's exactly what I'm going to say to myself.
Yeah.
Like all the efforts have paid off.
Wow.
Yeah. So well done.
I'd love for you to come back to this podcast 5 years from now.
I want to come back.
And basically just like watch this part of it.
Yes.
Just to like, that would be so awesome. That would be, because, and I think you can say that easily because there's foresight.
Yes.
To like where you're going and what's going to happen with the business.
For sure.
And how you're going to carry it forward. Oh, Wenzy.
Yeah.
This has been such a pleasure.
It's been amazing.
I am soaking up what you just said, like the 5 years from now.
Yeah. You really are going to make it.
That is
You really are going
beautiful.
to make it. Yeah. You'll make it.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having
for
me.
this beautiful conversation.
Thank you, Resonate family.
We love you here. Okay.
I love you guys.
Whatever, please invite us.
Yeah, I
We
will.
will be there.
I will.
We will be
We
there.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be there. Thank you
Thank
so much.
Thank you.
Resonate community, I think for me that ended on such a reflective note, really. And I want you to take that moment to reflect for yourself. Whatever it is that you're working on right now, ask yourself 5 years from now, if you were to say something to your future you, what would you say? And I love what Wenzy just said, just you did it. Because there's so much conviction that whatever it is that she's doing in 5 years' time,
yeah.
And I hope it's going to be the same for you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me for the Resonate podcast. Such an amazing conversation. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in our next episode. Goodbye. Bye.